Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first episode of D5.5, where we are here to discuss the story, characters, and answer questions from members and audience alike about the episodes from Black Ink and Blue Blood. Today we have Austin, who plays Zephyr. And we have Jeremy, who plays Gil. And then there's me, of course, Amanda, who plays Lucian. The discussions and questions are for episodes 1 through 5. So if you guys can put those in your minds, maybe just think about how we all first met and think about that. So that's actually my first question. So this is I have a few questions directed towards everybody, but we're gonna go one at a time. So we'll start with Austin. How did Zephyr feel when he first met Gil and Lucian?
I he didn't really. I don't think he really knew Ian until we met. Until we met at or after we took care of that little situation we had in the barn or little warehouse. I think if I remember correctly, didn't think he saw Gil steal from the guard. The first thing he did was steal from the guard.
Hey, so did you.
Yeah, but
but you didn't see that.
Oh no, I think you saw it, and then but you didn't.
I did. I didn't say anything. No.
You didn't see. I don't know. Either way, yeah, it was just. But I guess the main first place we saw each other was at the at the tavern, or not at the tavern, a warehouse. I know he was wary of you because obviously you weren't exactly in contact, so sticking to the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah, he was kind of worried of you and slowly learned. Lord douches. Okay, good to know.
Fair enough. Okay, Jeremy, how did Gil feel about Zephyr and Lucian?
Oh boy, where to start? So, with Lucian, she was, from his first encounter with her, she was just a close figure, very snippy, who knew everything and thought she was always right.
Mm-hmm.
Still does, but that's besides the point. Then there was Zephyr, who went and pulled a knife on us. I specifically remember that because I took it from him.
Well, no, I think you might remember. I think I nat one on attacking the creature, which hit you, hitting your.
Oh no, you had
No, this was in the
was
train
holding the
before
knife.
the creature.
Yeah, this was while we were on the train. I had picked you up because Lucian was trying to mother you.
Lucian was actually trying to be nice. And Zephyr was like being a little bitch.
Well, he wasn't a kid.
I honestly forgot about that part. Yeah, I was like, first encounter with all when. Yeah, I would definitely say Lucian was the type of thicker nose and.
Well, we can all agree on that.
I can agree. I play her, and I can agree on that. As far as Lucian goes, I want to say her first interactions with Gil were interesting because that was the first DM whispers. Was I found out that he was the prince of Gyogre, and I kind of kept that to myself for a little bit, and I was like, you know what, I think I'm gonna have some fun with that. You know, being the diplomatic aristocrat that she is, I was like, you know what, she would probably use that to her advantage, knowing who he is. So, and then when she saw Zephyr, she was like, oh, it's a little lizard boy. You know, she thought, oh, maybe it's a child that lost their way, or, you know, I'm not sure what she thought really.
It was a while back.
Yeah. So, kind of segueing into this, what was your first impression? Like, what would you say, would your impression of the character now, knowing what you know, kind of, is it still like, yeah, I was right with my first impression?
Yes, so I mean, my first impression, oh, these people are, you know, they like to stick their nose where it should belong. That's Lucy.
Yeah, it is Lucian, that's for sure. How about Gil? I'm very curious about how Zephyr's impression of Gil is.
His first impression, at first he was just sort of just like this meathead, and in some way he still feels that way, but he does see as Gil, like, I think, and especially in one episode where he made Gil make like him involving stealing in the future. Well, I think Zephyr has noticed that, like, even though he is willing to lie, does seem to have some. He's like strong on his word, and how if he said something, it's pretty much gonna get done ish sometimes. So.
Okay. How about you, Jeremy? How about your first impression versus the impression that you have now? Let me mute since you are sitting next to me.
Oh boy. Well, the first impression with Lucian, well, that's a tough one. Because the first thing you thought was, oh, it's a pretty girl. Damsel in distress. You couldn't have been further from the truth.
So she's
She can
not a pretty
definitely take
girl.
care of herself. Oh, she's pretty. But she's no damsel in distress. She's not as weak and helpless as Gil originally thought. Then, as for Zephyr, that's also a little complicated. Like, his first impression of Zephyr was that pretty much he's a little sly person that likes to stick to shadows, not really confront any. Well, if he can get out of a fight, because, well, he's squishy. And that still somewhat holds true.
Kind of.
But he has gotten better. He's more willing to stick his neck out for the group.
I feel like Lucian's point of view of Zephyr kind of dramatically changed after a certain point, which we will discuss later on in the D5.5. But in the very beginning, she was like, "Oh, he's just a little boy." Because like when we were fighting, you know, he did miss and like crash into a bunch of boxes, and he seemed real stumbly, and like he didn't really seem like he knew what he was doing. And I was like, "Oh, he's just a boy, you know, maybe he's just guarded. I don't know." But I feel like her opinion kind of changed after a while, which we'll discuss later. I don't want to give too many spoilers right now, but I kind of feel like we already know when her opinion of him changed, because she brings it up a lot. She brings it up a lot because she can hold a grudge. That woman can hold a grudge. For Gil, at first she was like, "Oh, this is because where she's from, you know, there is an expectancy of the hierarchy, let's say." So when she's like, "Oh, she meets a prince," she's expecting him to act princely. And when he doesn't act princely, for example, when he pickpockets the guards on the way out and she notices, her respect and her opinion of him just lowers immediately.
The guard had it coming.
That is beyond the point. She was like, "One, I can't respect somebody who has status, who steals. I can't respect somebody who has status and, you know, brings himself to do something so lawfully devious, you know." She is just like, the bar significantly just lowered in that moment, I feel like. But now, now that things have changed, I feel like things are kind of, you know, she's kind of warming up to him, not in the way that I think he wants, but she is kind of warming up to him in a maybe friendly sort of way, you know. I don't think that she'll get to the point in the way that he wants. If you catch my drift.
Well, he's always got Zephyr's sister.
So talking about the first battle that we had together as a team, how did you guys feel when we defeated that first Ickerbees?
Frustrated.
Can you elaborate on that, Austin?
Yeah, just, I mean, I guess if we, you know, with some character reasons, but like he's just frustrated because they're
attack, miss, attack, miss.
Well, no, not even just that. I mean, frankly, well, it does. It was a little, I mean, it does suck that it happened, but it's more just like he was frustrated that his contact is now dead, and he has his lead for where he was going for is that ended right there, and he's just like it was. Now I guess there goes that job. I mean, as far as like the Icar beast itself, like oh, is Black Icar well, he's never seen that. He's not like his focus is not nowhere. Okay, uh, this is a monster. What? Like, yeah, well, it's been confirmed that this is the guy that I was supposed to talk to. He's dead now. Where do I go now?
I kind of want to explore this a little bit. How do you think that changed things for Zephyr? Do you think that, because we did find out that it was Lucifer who did change the goblin to the Ichor Beast. So how do you think that Zephyr feels about that?
I mean, I have to say, he. I think it's in later on episodes where he kind of gets to really, or at least the episodes that we are talking about. I guess, kind of as what Gil mentioned, Zephyr isn't exactly a combat shadows hero, but I mean, I don't think he really has given a lot of thought about like, hey, he knows something about my parents. Not there just goes that lead, and frankly, it sucks that this random person. I think who later on I find out is your brother.
Mm-hmm.
Random person did this to him, but he's more focused on lead right now.
Mm-hmm. And Jeremy, how did you, a player, and how did Gil feel as a character about the fight with the Ichor Beast?
Well, to put it simply, one, he was disappointed that he couldn't complete the mission his father sent him on. Then, on top of that, he was very happy he got to keep the gold from it, so he didn't have to pay the little goblin. But he was disappointed on how quickly that we all killed him. It was not much of a challenge in his mind.
Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of Gil's whole thing, is looking for a fight. But how did you feel as like the player? Did you kind of feel like, oh, this is really good, like this is going to start a real mystery? Were you excited? Were you nervous?
I was curious to see where it would lead. Because if there's one, there's always going to be more. Because that little goblin was what most people call like a prototype experiment.
Okay. So I have spoken to the DM a few times, and he has alluded to, like, so he likes to say that he likes to put like the main villain in places where, like, I don't know if this is something that he's actually said, or like if it was like I dreamt this or something, but like I don't know if this is things that like actually happened. Like, do you feel like we've already met the main villain?
Tell me the answer to
I mean, what do you think, Austin? Do you think we've already met the main villain?
Well, I'm thinking the main villain, which is it sounds like it's gonna be, whole uh I don't even know, like lady or something like that. Yeah. But I feel like yes and no. I feel like as far as like we've shown in or in the campaign, we haven't exactly seen her in person. Probably not. But I'm thinking like obviously that since a lot of us, as we kind of go down the line of we've seen her in our past, like in our background kind of deal that we as far as that we probably don't know yet.
Okay. What do you think, Jeremy?
I think it's possible that we may have already seen her in the one incident does somewhat come to mind from the city when Lucian went to the temple.
Oh, the main nun. Priscilla. Yeah. What about
The
Priscilla?
main nun.
What if
You should talk into my mic because you're lagging really bad.
I was gonna say, what if that was her judging us?
What if
Saying,
that was her?
how it's going to turn out? How it's going to start?
It's a theory. I don't necessarily agree with it, but it is a theory.
Your theory.
Well, I was gonna say, how else did your brother find you so easily?
Well, he's been tracking me for years, apparently. But I feel like I agree with you, Austin. Yes and no. Because I do feel like the main quote unquote boss will probably be the lady, if not Dr. Kloom.
Ready for that one.
I want that guy dead so bad. I want him dead so bad.
Back on topic.
Back on topic.
I mean, elaborate here.
I feel like you said yes and no, because I feel like there have been maybe subtle hints, because he's the kind of DM to drop very subtle hints to the point where like we don't notice shit, you know, that he says. Like he'll just say something offhandedly and we'll just kind of dismiss it. But like I feel like sometimes those are the things that we have to listen for.
Possibly.
Yeah.
So we only have a few more minutes left. So I want to kind of have an open discussion for anybody else who has questions for anybody else, or a topic from episode 1 through 5 that they want to discuss.
Well, here's what we could do. Problem. Message. Try to do messages, but bad at fingers. Ooh.
Oh no.
I mean, just I guess I had a few in my mind earlier at one point. All right, I got a list. All the people who I want to add, and it's like, oh, where'd that list go?
That's why I always write everything down. Do you remember anything?
I guess, more or less, I guess curiosity, because I think. I think of the whole like the foreshadowing of Zephyr, abandoning party for a heist.
Yes, the heist.
The heist that I mean,
So, okay, I got a question for you, Zephyr.
All right.
not been able to, like, he hadn't been able to reason with him, what would he have done?
If the alchemist didn't have a reasonable enough what was the word? Reward. What would have Zephyr done?
I mean, a reasonable off the reward. He kind of just went in there to, see if he can get something and get out. It was either that or nothing. So, unless if it was like not a reasonable enough reward for the favor, he probably would decline it and be like, "Hey, I'm not gonna be in debt with you for this trinket that you." But since it actually had some purpose to it, he took it on.
Are we still in debt? I think we're still.
That's a good question. Are we still in debt with the alchemist?
Or he never asked for us a favor.
So yeah, we still are in debt.
Well, shit.
Well, he's never called it in, so, and it's not like we're anywhere near Perha where he can call it in, unless he magically has sending where he can contact Lucian.
Other stuff. Apparently, I asked in chat, Anonymous has asked, what in the range of 1 to 5 episodes, obviously since we're doing that, what was your favorite segment?
Ooh, that's a good question. Jeremy, you go first.
So, favorite set. Oh.
What was your favorite part?
Favorite, like episode 1 through 5. Think about everything that happened through the first 5 episodes. What was your favorite part?
Tarbone.
The Tarbone. I knew you were gonna say the Tarbone. I knew you were gonna fucking say it. You lit fucking Tarbone on fire. And Lucian was like, "You are an idiot." That was the dumbest thing. That's the funny thing is that we're like, I kind of feel like Gil's dumbest things that has done has like significantly grown since then, because like every single like episode he does something dumber, and every episode I'm just like, you're a fucking idiot. How about you, Austin? What would you say was your favorite?
Trying to think of what happened live. A whole lot happened, I guess. For Zephyr aspect of, probably say his heist. That was thing. Burning down a plant. I think he messed with some chessboard, I believe. Either that or thought about it. I was like, should I? Well, sadly, the reward was kind of, not what he was expecting. But owing someone technically. I forgot to pull off his first heist. Now, what about you, Luke? What would be your favorite of 5?
So, at the end of the fight from the Tarbone, at that very end of that episode, DM described the burning words found you on the wall of the temple, and I swear to God, even like thinking about it just now just gives me goosebumps. Like that whole scene, that whole like visualization of it just was beautiful. Chef's kiss. It was amazing. And I was just like, and that's when I wanted to start doing the saving throws for Lucian, because I was like, you know what would fucking make sense? But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and close everything down for today. Thank you guys so much for listening. Please check out our website at officiald5hub.info and our Twitch streaming on Tuesday evenings at 9:30 Central Time for our Tuesday night campaign. Thank you so much for listening and have a great night.